Hello teacups, what's brewing? Welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for being here. Today we're popping in with Chantel. She has returned to Kuwait. She's improved none of her life, but she's returned nonetheless and she's mad, as is usually the case. So the live stream this came from, which is now deleted, called Hi Visas, was quite long for me to cut down myself. So I'm actually using I think it was on Barbecue Chillin', not Barbecue Chicken, but her cut down, which is only about 10-11 minutes. Basically, Foodie Be Raging and Foodie Be Foodie, so it obviously ended well for her. She's had a number of community posts over the last few days, still raging, and then came online to tell people how she didn't want to rage in her actual video. She was here for all you people, and then proceeded to rage. Shocking, I know. But it seems whatever she was waiting on in Thailand has now been resolved. She is back. Whether they were waiting for paperwork for what I was speculating in terms of marriage or what have you, we don't know. We have no confirmation. It may have been that she was trying to put some time between tourist visits because the more you have, the more they scrutinize them. Who knows? We don't know anything at this point. But she made it back into Kuwait, and let's get into this video. Now, Barbecue has put a disclaimer up. I'm sure you're aware, if you follow her at this point, what she said, but if you are uncomfortable hearing talk about the current events in the Middle East, you may want to skip this one. Because Chantel, as you might imagine, has one of her infamous hot takes on sensitive issues. Let's get going.
I just wanted to be. I'm not coming on here to talk about drama. I'm not coming on here to talk about anyone in particular. I've said what I had to say on my community tab, and I stand by that. I don't have to come on here and talk shit about people or try to cause shit to have something to talk about, mashallah.
Spoiler alert. She did all of those things within about 10 seconds of saying that. The community posts that are currently just being shown up on the screen are just about her cat hating her, how she's treating her animals. A picture surfaced during her time in Thailand of BBJ at FFG's. I'm assuming she's at FFG's or FFG's friend or whatever that ends up being. And BBJ looked very thin and her fur looked a little bit disheveled. Now, I don't care for animals. It appears somebody on Twitter, this is how I get my information. I don't watch FFG, or many reactors actually, but I don't watch FFG Direct, so I don't know all the details of this. There was someone on Twitter who compared her to other pictures of elderly animals. It may be the case that the change in appearance is just connected to the fact that her age is beginning to catch up with her, or it may be something else. But the one small piece of credit I'm willing to give Chantel at this point, and it's not a lot, is that had Chantel shared this picture, there would have been a lot of talk. The cat didn't look good. That doesn't mean that she's in a bad situation. I still believe the situation she's in now is better than the one she was in with Chantel, but it was a little shocking to see. And it did, of course, open the door to all the rage Chantel still has about this, and all the conversations again, because what else is Chantel going to talk about?
So that's not what I'm going to do. I want to give all my attention to you guys. Everyone's like, she looks matted. No, that's her fur. They're not mats, dummies.
This might be her fur. I don't know if you're going to be able to see in the corner. I'll try and do a close-up. This might just be how her fur looks, but again, she looks disheveled. The difference, as ever, is credibility. We know the situation the cats were in when they were with Chantel, so why should we believe that the cat she has now is in any better a condition? And that's really what this boils down to, but let's keep going.
It's just her fur. She always looks like that. She has a brush right here. I brush her like every day, and sometimes twice a day because she loves it. All I have to do is make a noise. Like when she's not sleeping and she's awake, all I have to do is like go like this on the couch and she comes running. And yeah, she had a bath. And she smells like Pet Zone deodorant stuff that they put on the cats after.
Now, I do have a question of what was happening with the pets when she left. I think it's likely they had someone visiting to feed them, but probably not to do much out. Maybe feed, change the cat litter every now and again. So they would have had to have someone looking after them. But if that person had been taking care of like grooming needs, they wouldn't have had to take her to the groomer straight away after. I'm glad they did. She said that they filmed it, so we'll probably get a video up of that at some point just to prove it. but it means they went 6 weeks with basic care, but not really like brushing, grooming, playing. If that's the case, of course, I'm speculating. Now, I could be wrong, and they could have been with somebody the whole time. They could have been taken out of the apartment the whole time. But I was in, whose chat was it? Pulpy's chat. And we were discussing it a little bit. And she had a whole pile of carpets and things on the chair behind her. And she was like, don't mind those. I was vacuuming. I was doing whatever. So if you had left the apartment in reasonable condition and then the pets had gone out, there would be no real reason to have to clean it that thoroughly when you got back. So I feel like the animals were probably in the apartment during the time and someone was just visiting to care for them.
They shaved like around her bum area just to prevent it getting messy, because I've had to like clean her bum several times after she poops. So to prevent any problems, shave it off.
The community posts were so long. She just raged and raged and raged. If you're gonna rage, like, do the videos. At least you'll earn some money.
So I think the vet, like, how about they take her to the vet now? Like, every single thing that was wrong with her is because she's fucking old, okay? Like, she has kidney disease, and she's, like, if you see pictures of her, she's suffering.
Speaking of suffering, when we say everything wrong with her, and she's about to go into the nails on the pads and stuff like that, not everything wrong with her, everything she was suffering with when she was with Foodie was down to old age. It was down to, and this is an important difference, the issues she was getting because of old age not being addressed, being on the wrong type of food, not having her nails trimmed, having to live in the disgusting conditions in the apartment. Those were the issues she was having, and Foodie was just like, well, it's old age, I'm not going to intervene. If we were going on that logic with Foodie herself, Foodie probably would have already passed. She wouldn't be on any of her medications. She wouldn't be on any of her inhalers or her blood thinners or anything like that.
All for your entertainment, all to piss me off, and I'm unaffected. You're not going to bother me. I've come to terms with what happened, but that doesn't stop me from pointing out your stupid hypocrisy.
She does sound very over it, doesn't she?
All right, if you want to suck the dick of somebody who's a dumbass and lying to you, that's your problem, not mine.
Every time she opens her mouth, she makes it her problem again. If you're so over it, why are we talking about it?
Damn, she was so bad in your care. Every single picture of her in my care is way better than she looks now. Way better, way better.
I remember the picture of Timbit's food in Pete's room. I remember Box Mountain. I remember the piles of trash and old food that were under her dressing table when she was cleaning her bedroom. I remember when she was doing the big clean right before they left and she was having someone from maintenance come in to check something. She was talking about how she poured cleaning water, like bleach and whatever, onto spots in the carpet to rehydrate it so she could clean it, because she had left patches of things that the cats had left, either poop or pee or vomit, and she'd left them to harden and dry, so she'd had to clean it that way, and she was surprised that they'd come up so easily. The whole house was a hot box of weed smoke, and she was high most of the time. You're telling me they were well cared for? Excuse you, madam. We have eyes, we have ears, we have brains.
Why are you in red? I like red. I love it. And yeah, Little Red Riding Hood, I still look 100 times better than that fat goblin. Disgusting, ugly goblin. Ugly.
I don't think that's necessarily the issue you should be focused on here today, my dear.
This person on the internet, so whatever. Don't even entertain them. That's what they want. They need it. They need it for content. They have no life. They have no life. They provoke you, and then when you act ugly back, they're like, oh, well, too fucking bad. I'll say what I want.
Modest Miriam strikes again. Modest Miriam strikes again. She can say what she wants. We say shit, she can say shit. She can absolutely do that. But if you do it while you sit there and say, no, I am above this, I am not here for the drama, then people are going to have opinions, because anything you put publicly results in opinions. And that's something she's never been able to handle.
Like, if I want to defend myself once in a while, I will. Whatever. Whatever.
Go ahead, dear.
Here come the Islam police. I don't care. Is she a good Jewish person? Does she do Shabbos? No.
If she does bad things, I get to do bad things, and they don't count. If you call it doing bad, I give zero shits about any religion. But, you know.
No, she doesn't. So kiss my ass. They're all seething with jealousy. They're so pathetic, because every single thing they predicted and their dumb conspiracies is wrong.
Excuse me? I gave you an exact timeline of when you were going to leave Kuwait. Did you leave then? Yes, you did.
I'm in Kuwait. Bitches. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, after 6 weeks in Thailand, what are you going to do? How are you going to keep this up long term? Don't get me wrong, people tourist visa hop. Yeah, they go out, they come back, they go out, they come back. When I went to Dubai and I was coming back, there were people who had purchased tickets that were staying on the plane. They weren't even disembarking, so they could re-enter Dubai and renew whatever visa they were on. It happens. But to sit there and say, no, you don't see it, you're wrong, excuse you. I'm not right on everything because she is very inconsistent with her information and it's speculation a lot of the time. But the stuff we actually looked at, the stuff we were able to pin down, we have been right on.
Huh? Ugh. I hate them. Anyway, I'm done venting. It's not worth it. I don't want to talk about. I don't want these stupid people in my space. Like, period.
And here we are.
Oh, I'm aggressive, but her cackling like a witch for 3 hours, calling me a bitch and everything else, and my mama whore is okay. Fuck her.
Neither of you are okay. You've both gone way too far and gotten way too intertwined.
She's got her karma with that. Goodbye. Yeah, I have every right to defend myself. I don't care if you're fucking bothered, then unsubscribe. I don't care. Go kiss her ass. I don't care.
You seem to care a lot. This amount of rage, these are a lot of eyes for me, but the amount of rage she has, you appear to care a lot. You don't have to. If she were to rise above it just once, it would help so much, but she just can't. She can't resist. And I don't know if that's in part because she's only just gotten back on her meds, because we do see her impulsivity just escalate when she's off her meds, and she might still be struggling with that.
If anyone who was once a follower and supporter here is now over there, you never were a supporter, so goodbye, I don't care.
Well, she might care, and this is where I think the rage has come from, and this is why we've got the same talking points again, because it always drags people in. She might care when she gets paid. You know, because people have gone over there, and in their thousands, people have gone over there, because Foodie has a way of using up viewers at the best of times. So to say, oh, okay, I don't care, go over there, which she does, and she goes into again in a moment, be careful what you wish for, because her channel views are down, like down. In a way, I actually put it on Twitter. I hadn't realized how bad some of the view counts on her lives in Thailand were, but they were shocking.
The 2,000 people who are in my chat are over there now because they fucking want me. They want to keep discussing the old miserable me where I was being abused. And
she's so angry. She's so angry. And this is really what's upsetting her. It's how she had supporters that she thought would ride and die for her forever, and they're gone. And she feels like it's so unfair.
And I was on drugs and I was miserable. That's never going to be my life again. Even if I go back to Canada, I'm not taking my hijab off. I'm not going to go back to that life.
She went back to Canada after she put the hijab on, and she got high the first day and then spent weeks lying about it. She would the moment she stepped back into Canada, she's one of those I can resist everything except temptation types of people. If it were readily available, she would be back on the weed. She wouldn't be able to stop herself.
Never. I've already explained BBJ's pads. Why did FFG kill her dog for anxiety? You people only focus on that. I've had the cat for 20 years, and this one incident was an oversight when I was away. Her nails grew long because she's fucking old. Sam's nails were fine.
But they were both living in filth. They were both living in trash. They were both dealing with dirty food areas, I'm guessing, because we saw Timbits. And if you thought that was acceptable, I cannot believe their food areas were any better. And even when the food was up on the counters, which meant your arthritic cat had to jump up, the counter itself was surrounded by crap. You were high all the time. You had that subscription kitty litter that used to get saturated and then you wouldn't change it until Pete's could come to help you. I'm not talking about the ingrown pads. I'm talking about all the other evidence we saw. The ingrown pads were bad, but if you're going to excuse those, let's look at everything else.
Okay, so shut the fuck up. They're gonna have no fucking channel soon anyway. So enjoy this rage while you can.
Enjoy isn't quite the word, but we'll discuss it.
Because you're not gonna have a channel soon, bitch. You're not gonna have one.
She's made that threat before. Now, she's feeling confident about it because a couple of channels got demonetized, but I believe that was for lack of transformative content rather than like hate channels. So I'm not sure what she thinks is going to happen with FFG. I guess she thinks, no, you'll get your karma too, which is what she's telling us. But the thing is, FFG is a very polarizing figure, but people hate her enough that I think they would follow FFG to other platforms. If she ever did get completely kicked off YouTube, she probably could start a Twitch or a Patreon or whatever. But even if she didn't, she's done well monetarily out of her channel. And she has a job outside her channel, I do believe. So nobody would suffer more from losing the channel than Chantel herself.
And if you think you're going to get away with what you did with the cat, just watch.
Don't believe me, just watch. She's already gotten away with it. Congratulations.
Just watch. I am proud, Wanda. I'm very happy where I am in life. I would rather die than go back to the life I had before.
You seem very happy. Congratulations.
Thank you. Ignore everything she does. She's wild and abusing BBJ. Guarantee she fucking hates me. So she's, number one, she lied to people blatantly. But that's okay, right? That's okay. She has the cat. She's probably mistreating it. It looks starving. But the same people who ignore that now were giving me so much shit. And those people don't matter, so who cares?
Again, people aren't ignoring it. There's been a lot of conversation that I've seen on Twitter anyway. The cat didn't look good in the picture, but that doesn't mean it's being abused. Because I'm not here to defend FFG. I don't know her that way. I'm not a regular watcher of hers. But I believe that FFG cares about animals, and I believe that the cat is better off in her care. I believe that utterly. Because Chantel is a low bar.
But giving me shit for starving BBJ, more defamation. Like, you better pray I never go to Canada and sue your ass, because I have so much.
She has threatened that many a time. She was in Canada when this happened, and nothing moved forward. So sit there and threaten. It's an empty threat. It's the emptiest of threats. And what are you going to do? Let's say she gets herself into such a rage that she actually goes ahead and does it. She returns to Canada. She reports it to the police because she tried to at the time, didn't she? Like, what are you going to say? A year ago, she did this and I didn't follow up on it. Or I tried to follow up on it and I was told I couldn't, and it would be, was it a civil thing? I don't quite remember the details of it. But she's not going to do anything. Are you kidding me? She's not going to do anything. What is it with these threats? Like it's going to matter. Don't believe me. Trust and believe. Why would I trust or believe you? Every piece of evidence we've ever had says you're full of empty gas.
Oh my God, it's insane. Like, just shut the fuck up.
I mean, sound advice. Go look in a mirror.
I seemed happier in Canada? No, not at all. Not at all. I don't know what gave you that idea.
She seemed the same level of rage in Canada, just over different things.
I don't know what gave you that idea. I'm sure I could come up with some clips of me crying every other day.
She's a generally miserable person. I really wouldn't say she's better or worse in either place, just different.
Do you guys forget that, or what? Disgusting people. You're not going to affect me. After this, I'm ignoring your asses. Goodbye.
How many times she said that? If someone can come up with a count, I'd love it.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, I hate that cackle clip so much.
People miss the old you. Well, that's good for them, you know, because when it was the old me, people were freaking out every day, giving me shit. You need to change your life. You need to get away from that asshole abuser. You need to stop the drugs. You know, I wish you would just do something else other than just sit there on wheelchairs. And now that I'm halfway across the world, happily married to somebody who's not an abusive piece of shit, now it's all, oh, we just the old you and all crickets. Well,
and this is, again, I think the issue, the fact that it's all crickets, the fact that it didn't transform her content into this world famous travel vlogger, family vlogger, wife life type thing that she really wanted. She wanted to be a couples vlog. She wanted to be one of those people that people looked at their relationship and went, oh, look how great they are together. Look at their adorable family. Look at their exotic lives. But she came to Kuwait and she's doing exactly what she did before, which is sit in a room, not go out and eat. So people see that wasted opportunity. But even when she goes out, like she went to Thailand and she did a number of things. It dwindled down, but she did try. But the fact is, she's not an engaging person. She's not someone you really want to watch to find out what she thinks of something. She's never going to show you a fantastic video that really engages you and makes you want to go there. And she's angry about that because to her, she coloured in all the right dots and now this picture should be here. And it's just not. There's too much water under that particular bridge. People know too much about her and she can't just transform herself online again. Partly because of this, partly because the real her surfaces through every single time. And if you want to make a new life, you have to let go of the old one, which she's never been able to do. Now, I don't wish that she were back on wheelchairs. I think that was a terrible time for her. And I think it was just destroying her life because her income could manage how much she was taking. But her income isn't there anymore. She just doesn't have the ability to indulge in it the way she has been. And she'd ruin herself trying. But was that time in Canada more interesting than this time in Kuwait? Yes. Terrifying, awful, but there were a lot more talking points and it was more interesting. As time went on, it got very repetitive again. Anything will get repetitive with time, but it was very dramatic and it caused a lot of discussion. People are bored and she doesn't like that.
Oh, goodbye. I don't care. I don't care. I have no problem rebuilding an audience. I have no problem continuing to do me.
She will have a big problem rebuilding her audience. When she bait and switched her reaction channel, and bear in mind, like, her reactions were always going to be terrible, and she obviously realised it, but only about 1,200 people signed up. And when you consider she's got about 95k subs, that's an incredible amount of dead subs. Because reactions was one of the more dramatic things she could have done. So she really doesn't have the pulling power to maintain an audience or rebuild it anymore. Because at least when she was back in Canada, she had the drama. Then she would go through her cycle and she would start another weight loss journey, whatever. And she would bring in new people and then they would become disillusioned. Some of them would become reactors and we'd all relive the cycle. She doesn't have that anymore. She's got a different kind of channel now. And she's got a lot more of her personal issues online exposed.
And if you don't like it, I don't care. I have to get some Lush because, like, you know, and I'm happy to hear that Lush stands with Palestine, so I'm definitely supporting them.
Okay. The Middle Eastern stuff is complex, and I don't generally get into politics on this channel unless it comes from our primary source here. So we're going to hear what she has to say. It's not going to be great, okay? And then we're going to discuss this. But if this is something you don't want to hear, feel free to move on forward.
Trust me, if I was unhappy with how I am, person, you would see some semblance of it. Reading terms of service is about not eating, restricting diet, and bullying others to stop eating. Exactly. Thank you, Born Villain. You get it.
She's going to talk a little bit about terms of service and eating and restricting and all of that. And then she's going to go back into the Middle Eastern topic, okay?
When people saw that, they're like, oh, yeah, she's going to be demonetized. Excuse me, but if I'm demonetized and I'm off this platform, what are you going to do for content?
We're going to go back to work or cover somebody else. That's how reaction channels work.
Say bye-bye. You're all hoping I get my karma? Everyone else is getting their karma. How many hate channels have been demonetized?
2. And not for hate, for non-transformative content.
I don't talk about politics, but I'm 100% in full support of Palestine. 100. There's no proof of babies being decapitated. That's a lie. It's called propaganda from Western media. That's been debunked. I reposted that on my TikTok.
She gets all her information from TikTok. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Thank you very much. We have not seen one decapitated baby. No parents have come out and claimed that at all. So, brainwashed. I'm not saying that atrocities weren't committed, but, and I don't, I don't like war, but at the same time, like, where was all this media attention whenever, we have actual media proof of Palestinians being murdered, so let's just not even go there.
Let me just check if she's finished or not. I can't remember.
Thank you. And now they have no food, no water, like, they've been living in apartheid for 75 years. Let's just say that. They will twist every word. I don't care. I don't.
Right. I'm gonna just stop there. Right. Here's the thing with Foodie. She doesn't have the skills to speak on a serious issue well. Yeah? And for that reason alone, I would say just keep it off your channel. Oh my God, keep it off your channel. And it's because she lacks certain skills. So she lacks the skill to research thoroughly from reliable sources. And we know that because she's getting her information from TikTok, which I would not consider a reliable source. She lacks the critical analysis skills to be able to synthesize information from good sources to come up with her own informed opinion. And she's not articulate enough to be able to present that opinion in a balanced way. For all of these reasons, her hot takes on any current event or any event that impacts her have uniformly been terrible. So we can see that through personal issues she has, such as her eating disorder and the conversation surrounding that. We saw it with current events, such as the shooting at the school in Texas when she was doing the Pumped Up Kick stream, which was not helped by her intoxication. And we're seeing it now. So the only thing I really have to say about this is if you have an issue that is so current and so awful and so impactful to people right in this moment, and your answer includes the sentence, "I'm not saying that atrocities haven't happened," maybe consider not putting your thoughts out on it. Because clearly it's not a well thought out opinion based on good information. Now, I'm not saying you can't think whatever you think, you can't be on what side you're on. I'm saying this is not a good presentation of opinion. And there was no way Foodie was ever going to give one. I don't think anybody is here for Foodie's political takes, and I think this part of the stream shows why.
Okay, like I've been canceled how many times by these idiots? I don't care. They don't know. They're probably so ignorant on the whole situation. They don't even know anything.
She literally gets her information from TikTok. I don't speak on my opinions on situations like this because I will fully disclose that I am not well informed enough, I believe, to present my opinion well. I would have to go into it. I would have to do a lot more research. I would have to look into the situation to be able to explain why I thought the way I did. And I haven't done that. I know basically what's going on from the news, but I also know that one source of news is never enough and you have to look further. So while you're throwing around words like ignorant, maybe consider your sources.
Like they're experts all of a sudden on Islam. Just like they're experts all of a sudden on Kuwait law. Just like they're experts, like they can shove it.
We don't need to be experts on any of these things to realize, one, when she's lying, and two, when it would be better to be better informed.
Oh, the airports were exhausting and we had headaches and it wasn't comfortable.
We had headaches.
Like being seated upright for like, I don't know, and then like someone on the plane kept farting and it was smelly.
Didn't she used to sleep upright when she didn't have a CPAP? I mean, planes are uncomfortable and she was wedged into that seat. I fully believe she was uncomfortable, but didn't she used to do that?
What's her face was tattletaling on, apparently on Twitter. She's being anti-Semitic. Keep reaching. Keep reaching. Oh.
She has insisted on calling her goblin forever, despite being told she shouldn't. Just like she doubled down on calling Charlie Cole, because God forbid she be wrong.
Oh, and Goblin is not being Islamophobic when she says things like alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Both of them are terrible.
Please check yourself. And the nerve of the Goblin to body shame him when she looks like friggin' SpongeBob. Are you kidding? God, no, she looks like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the villain in it. Francis. Kai, I'm in my spare room in Kuwait. You know, the country nobody thought we would go back to. Yeah.
I thought she would go back. I just wanted to know what paperwork she was waiting for.
Yeah, there. People come for me every day and I think I don't have a right to defend myself and talk back about their stupid crap. Please. Like, come here, big boy. Hey, I buy your treats. You come up when I say. Give him a little piece of right here.
That's her relationship with every person she's ever had. Hey, I get you treats. Come over here and show me love.
Oh, I know it's not too bad for him. He can have a treat once in a while.
Didn't she say she was going to stop kissing him because he was dirty?
Loser. Go suck some more of FFG's ass. Your dad must be proud. Yeah, he is. Okay.
Your dad barely knows you. Don't pretend to know what he thinks.
Okay. If those channels you claim to hate didn't talk about you, you would lose the drama. What? I thought so too much better. See these type of comments from idiots like this, you should go to Gaza. Like, no brains whatsoever. I could never. No, they don't get me down, Kina. The only thing that gets to me is the hypocrisy when that's when I rage and call it out. But I don't rage compared to how these people rage every day. That's what the hypocrisy is. It's like pretty ironic, wouldn't you say, that this person like will spend 3 hours on a live stream bitching and moaning the same thing?
I mean, that's exactly what Foodie does. How many times has she had the cat conversation? How many times has she had the FFG conversation? You can argue they're both as bad as each other, but you can't argue any major differences here. But that also just absolutely gets on her wick, because Chantel fully and totally believes that everybody is like her. And that's why she gets so angry about criticism, because she believes that anybody who doesn't show what she shows online is just hiding it better and lying. She doesn't realize how extreme some of the things she does are. Because everybody does that, you guys. Everybody does it, and that's my justification. You're just dishonest about it.
Anyway, she's like, honestly, like a good review away from losing her channel. Don't worry, it's coming.
I will believe it when I see it. She might lose her channel one day. She's been very vocal about her thoughts, but I believe she would be able to rebuild with her following. And even if she didn't, she would have something to fall back on, and Foodie doesn't. So, all right, if we're going to go, let's go.
Boozin got demonetized. Hamster with the weird fucking eyebrows got demonetized. FFG's next. See you. And believe me, when that happens, we're going to throw the biggest party.
If Chantel could have got FFG demonetized before now, she would have done so. Either she recognizes how much she needs reaction channels to be able to continue her own dwindling channel, or she's tried and she's failed. But Chantel is angry enough that had she been able to take FFG down, she would have done so by now.
And rub it in. Trust me on that. It's not political as Muslim. I support Palestine. I don't care how many supporters I lose over that. I'm not the person to just shut my mouth for just to save face. I'm not a coward.
And speaking of cowardice and not shutting your mouth and not hiding what you think, she has deleted this live. The people she was reposting on TikTok that were supporting this opinion, she has hidden on TikTok so people can't see her reposts anymore. And she put a community post up today saying she wasn't feeling very well and she wasn't going to be online. She might not feel well. Travel does sometimes make you sick because you're in an enclosed space with lots of people. But I think she just doesn't want to face the backlash.
Hide like everyone else.
Yep, like everybody else. She's currently not online and isn't going to come online, and there's a ton of backlash. But she's definitely not hiding.
Oh yeah, go on the front line, Randy. Did your hair dye? Did you bleach your brain in the process of dyeing your hair? Am I in the effing military?
The zingers like this are the reason her reaction channel would have been goddamn awful.
No. You apparently have to go on the front line and battle the enemy in order to have an opinion. Okay.
No, you can have an opinion. Opinion are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, but just because you've got one doesn't mean I want to hear it talk. At least be informed in your opinion.
Okay, nice brain job you have there. Are you kidding, Miss Holler? Bull crap. You want to see me crafting? I don't even like crafting. That's not me. Sorry. No.
I don't know why she's so angry about crafting. I think people just want to see her diversify her content so they don't have to listen to this rage again.
Hobby's food. I don't like freaking crocheting. I don't like doing any of that shit. Okay, so. And talk about me getting a hobby? What about everyone else?
She is a hobby. I have others, but she is a hobby.
Hello again. When's the last time you smoked weed? A long time ago.
It was, as far as we're aware, when she went back to Canada, the night she arrived, after she had put on her hijab and was saying, no, she won't do it again. There's speculation she did it in Thailand, but no actual proof.
Sometimes, especially, watch after I smoke shisha, I'm gonna look burnt because it relaxes you, you know?
Shisha is tobacco. Like, yeah, it relaxes you, but it doesn't make you look burnt.
You can smoke cigarettes there, though. New Islam. How about we get people like you? Ignorant Islamophobic people. That would be nice. Imagine imagine one day just everyone loses interest in me whatsoever.
Imagine indeed. How are those views on your lives?
Imagine having a channel where you have nothing else to talk about. Imagine you are not interested enough as a person, to get any views on your own. That's embarrassing. That's gonna be a wake-up call for sure.
Again, most reaction channels that people watch, they watch because they're interested in that person giving their opinion. Because there are tons of reaction channels out there and you don't have to watch them. So if people come to my channel, there's one or two trolls, one or two hate watchers, but Generally, it's because they want my viewpoint on something. And different people's life experiences means they have different viewpoints on different things. And that's how people get viewers in the first place. But if we're talking about using her for this, Foodie uses us as much as we use her. It's all connected. And how many times has she had the FFG rant? How many times has she had the cat conversation? How many times has she gone over these things? And it usually gets her views because it causes an argument somewhere in the girl community. But this is Foodie's only job. And there are reactors out there that don't have other work, but a lot of us do. So yeah, don't get me wrong, my YouTube channel is a nice little earner for some extra cash. I'll put it into my pension, but it's not one-sided. She gets as much content out of us as we get out of her.
How you treat others will come back to you. I don't understand people being mean to strangers. It's only their karma. I know, exactly. Like, her channel's getting demonetized. Definitely her karma. These people don't think that it's going to come back to they always wait for my karma. Hi, Sophia.
She's living her karma. We don't need to wait for it. What she experiences in life is her karma.
What karma for what? Defending myself?
For being a heinous human being.
Really? Really? Cuba rates, they always bring that up. It's funny because then again, I explain, I was very drunk. Okay, sure, that's my responsibility. But I was also at a time in my life where I just was like, went through the worst crap I ever told, one of the worst times in my life.
People go through terrible times in their life and they don't turn into you. Yeah, that's your responsibility. And I'm not saying she wasn't going through terrible things. I'm saying that the way she responded to them made them worse. And the way she presented them made them worse. And yes, she's had some big dramatic moments which have not shown her well online, but she's also had 1,000 tiny little things that have all built up brick by brick this picture we have of Foodie. It's not all the dramatic times. Those have just been extreme cases of the day-to-day issues.
Of being manipulated and abused by people. And like, so what? Like, that was like how long ago? So exactly, like, I'm sorry.
The cat was a year ago. You can't let it go.
That's why I'm not reading what I sold, because I don't do that to people. I don't have a channel about other people making lies about them. I didn't steal anyone's pets. So, yeah. You mean like there's no spark of happiness while I'm discussing people and hate people?
Yeah, it's almost as if you didn't do that, you might be happier.
People? Yeah, that's normal, I'd say. Have a hot mess pass. Who doesn't? Are you kidding? Have you seen some of their criminal records? Look at FFG. She was in court for not paying her rent, and she has the nerve to call me broke.
You were in court for bankruptcy twice. Let's not be too judgmental. And if we're talking about, well, I get a pass because I was in an abusive relationship, if I'm remembering this correctly, wasn't the reason she couldn't pay her rent because she had left an abusive relationship? Am I remembering that correctly?
Bitch, you wouldn't have a dime if it weren't for me, so shut up and be thankful and kiss my feet. Trust me.
In terms of not having a dime, I'm pretty sure FFG has... God, I feel like I'm just sitting here defending her. I don't quite mean to in that way, but this bullshit, I'm pretty sure FFG has another job, and if she has another source of income, if I'm remembering that correctly, who really wouldn't have a dime here? Foodie is the one that doesn't have a second source of income.
I hope I can get to a point where I just don't even acknowledge any of the crap, because it's just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep reporting their dumb channels and hope that someday YouTube sees that they're just content thieves, they're just hate channels.
Or you could live a happier life by just ignoring the shit you don't want to deal with and doing you, which is what she claims to do every day and never does.
And I don't care. I'm not against reactions, but certain ones, yes. Because
I'm not against it, but I am. It's like when she did a reaction to me and she was like, I don't actually care if this person reacts to me. And then actually had nothing to say other than she hated my wig and my eyeshadow because she couldn't argue any point. She hates anyone that's not with her. And she likes to pick and choose a few people to be like, no, look how open I am to it. But she seethes because she hates when she can't win.
Reactions, certain ones. FA Astrology, is that the website? I know it's against usually we don't believe in that in Islam, but people expect me to just be perfect the minute I freaking reverted. I still have a whole past of my culture and
She absolutely has her own cultural past, but it hasn't been at the minute she reverted. She's been reverted for a year now, I do believe, and she hasn't even shown the bare minimum. I don't think anyone going into any religion is expected to be perfect right off the bat. I think it's all a process. Show me where in the process she is. Her belief in God or anything is completely her own, right? And I don't begrudge her it at all. But the basics that any person new to a religion are expected to go through, going to a place of worship and joining in the community, forging relationships within that community and your faith leaders. I believe there is a component of going to lessons for new Muslims to be able to learn the things they need to know. She hasn't engaged with any of that. The only time we ever see evidence of her looking up anything in her religion is so that she can use it as a weapon to throw in somebody's face. That is why people criticize her.
My things that I used to do were like, astrology and stuff. So where's my water? Anyway, I gotta get off, I guess.
Okay, and that is where we're finishing that. So we will see when Foodie dares to show her face again, when she considers, I guess, that the backlash has died down, or she might just come back and double down. That is also her way. When she does, I'll come talk to you. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.